What up, everybody? Sorry for the delay in the release of this video. Sunday, I got a late start. Didn't watch reality wrestling that debuted on the CW until halfway through the show. I had it on DVR, and that just kind of started a domino effect. And once we got to the afternoon games for Sunday football, then I thought, well, let me watch Night of Champions, and then I'll include that in my video. Maybe I'll film Monday. And then I was like, well, wait, Monday's Raw, and Tuesday, me and my lady, we watch some shows we rather enjoy. So that leads me to today when I'm filming this video. I'll cover about the last 7 days, being Monday to Monday. So I got a lot to cover, so many topics. So without further ado, now before I continue, October 10th at the Clear Lake Recreation Center, Reality Wrestling is doing their next television taping, and it starts a very busy October for us. So go to realitywrestling.com, follow them on Facebook, check out their Twitter. You can check out my Facebook. We've got like October 10th, October 17th in spring. That's where we debut. We'll debut there. And then we return in Nacogdoches October 30th, on top of getting the new building ready. And I'll cover that in a little bit. But first, now I'm talking about the go-home edition of Raw. That's where we'll get started. Some of my takeaways from it. So I guess Triple H has officially become the new Vince McMahon, especially when he was dancing with the New Day and doing one of those. I don't want to say it's got some rhythm to it, but it was one of those weird, awkward. You rarely see Triple H dancing, but it was cool. It was cool. It was kind of. I rather enjoyed the Raw, the go home show. I know some people didn't for various reasons, but I thought that was pretty hilarious. I think the New Day is on such a roll. They can honestly do no wrong. I mean, you would think a guy walking alongside them as one of their members, having a trombone and playing on paper, doesn't necessarily sound like the most entertaining or something that's going to get over with the crowd, but they can do no wrong. Everything they seemingly do turns to gold. But I will say this, I'm still very impressed by the primetime players. I just think, you know, they unfortunately fell into a situation where they were kind of the odd man out. Unfortunately, they worked really hard. I think they represented themselves well as champions, especially with public appearances and such. But again, when you've got this really entertaining group in the New Day, and then you've got the legends such as the Dudley Boys returning, it kind of leaves New Day, primetime players in this awkward spot. Hopefully they get another opportunity, because I think the more tag teams you have that are on the cusp of going after the title, the better. It just makes a better division overall. I honestly really enjoyed the Banks Page rivalry. I've enjoyed their series of matches. I don't know so much of a rivalry, but I guess it would be constitute as one. I don't know necessarily a feud because all the teams are feuding. But I really enjoyed it. I thought very physical, great storytelling, and it really didn't seem forced. Now some people have a problem with a 5 or 6 minute match, but sometimes that's all you're given. Like I said, I don't think they rushed into anything or forced any of the action. I believe they really just kind of let it naturally happen, and I really enjoyed those two in the ring. Now, real quick, John Cena and the constant argument about him turning heel. What I would say to those that want him to be heel, he already is, if you want him to be. Because you probably boo him. That's a heel or a villain tends to get booed. I know some people don't understand that, but you boo him, so he's a heel to you. I mean, he doesn't give you what you want. You know, that heel turn, which I don't know, I think it would be counterproductive, because what really would it do? He would alienate kids, the Make-A-Wish stuff. I don't know. I don't know. But he doesn't give you what you want, and he does it with a smile on his face. So, plus he's dating Nikki Bella. I mean, yeah. I just, I mean, that's enough proof right there that he's a heel in many people's eyes. I mean, if you want to boo him, then he's a heel to you. I don't understand why you would argue wanting him to turn heel, because then what would happen? You would cheer him? I don't know. I don't know. Owens and Ryback. I think in many ways the perfect story. You know, you got the guy that they didn't want, at least perception-wise, versus the guy that they do want. The model of what they're looking for in a superstar versus what they're not looking for. And that story of Owens and Ryback, I thought really had some potential. I mean, I never thought they would bring up The Secret or bring out the actual book, The Secret, in a promo, but I don't know, I enjoyed their the back and forth. Speaking of Nikki, now, I know some people, you know, up for debate. People that liked it versus people that didn't like it. I was fine with it. I give Nikki a lot of credit. I think she delivered on her end. I thought everything seemed to align for a Charlotte victory, and it didn't happen. And the way it didn't happen with the dusty finish, I was fine with it. I know some people who put it out there, they didn't like the finish, or they've done something similar. The Bella Twins have done something similar. But the truth is, you rarely get Stephanie McMahon involved, and even though some people consider it laughable that she would want to enforce the rules, but it played to that. It played into that dusty finish, and seeing Ric Flair out there wanting to celebrate. I mean, the whole thing, the way they got the crowd and then took it away from them. I can understand people's views of how that could have diminished the significance of the Night of Champions matchup. I didn't have a problem with it, although I could see people's arguments as far as you really are playing up the fact that she's going to break the record, and that seems to be more important in some people's eyes than the title. Well, it is about the title at the end of the day. So, I don't know, I was fine with it. I'll say, you know, she represents the Divas division, that being Nikki, up until Sunday. But, I don't know, man, I was fine with it. I was fine with it. I really liked it because of just all the expressions and everybody how it came about. So yeah. I would tell people to keep increasing the number of Cesaro section flyers. And his win over Rusev, while you know, masked in some controversy because of how Cesaro went over. The fact is, he went over on Rusev, which is not very common. Some people might say, oh, Rusev has lost something. Well, eventually, once you lose, you're going to show some level of vulnerability. You're going to show a crack in the armor, so to speak. So I didn't really have a problem with how it was, because unfortunately, that's the story that they're having to push, or wanting to push. So I don't know. At the same time, I really enjoyed the fact that Cesaro got to go over in that one. Now, the main event for that go-home show was Sting versus Big Show. I get those that would find the negative in that. I'm not one of those. I just kept thinking, Sting is wrestling on Raw. We live in a world where Sting has wrestled on Raw. When he applied the Scorpion Deathlock, was I the only one who went back in time to say Starrcade 97? Okay, that's a bad example. I meant that in the biggest mark-out moment, seriously, after all that hype, the fact he had Hogan in it, but I digress. The fact that I got to see Sting in a WWE ring on Monday Night Raw, it didn't matter who his opponent was, but, I mean, not only did we get him versus Big Show, but then we got the tag match with Sting and John Cena, another thing I thought I'd never see, versus Big Show and Rollins, and Sting getting the, you know, I just thought, man, that's just, wow. So, On Tuesday, a couple of things. You know, I found out Amanda, who was a semi-finalist for Tough Enough, got signed, and I think apparently she's going to appear on the next season of Total Divas. Kind of a no-brainer that she would get signed. I mean, anyone who thought she wasn't going to get signed, did you watch Tough Enough? And if you didn't watch Tough Enough, you probably should have watched it, because you would have probably seen, hey, she's probably going to get signed. Also, someone who got signed, ZZ, another semi-finalist, or got to the finals. I guess they're both finalists. Yeah, because Amanda would have been a finalist for the woman's contract, and ZZ would have been a finalist for the men's contract. But anyway, some people had a problem with it. Not me so much. WWE can do what they want. They can spend their money how they want. The guy obviously connected with fans to some degree, so I don't really have a problem with it. Let's see what happens now that he's signed. Hopefully he makes the most of the opportunity. We'll see. Also, well, a couple of sad things. Last week my cousin passed. Really sad to hear that, especially how she passed. She's survived by a 3-year-old daughter and plenty of family members, so my condolences go out to all my family in their time of need. Also, it's really Samantha's dog, but he was our dog for a bit. Toby, he passed on Tuesday of last week. That was rough, especially for Sam, because I know she lived a lot of years with him. So yeah, but yeah. Also, I'm trying to get back on track. American Ninja Warrior, congrats! Not only to Isaac Caldiero for being the American Ninja Warrior winner, but he wasn't the only one to complete the course. Jeff Britton was another one. He actually completed it first, so he was the very first ever American Ninja Warrior. But unfortunately, the $1 million winner went to the guy who beat the course the fastest, and Isaac was the guy. But congrats to both. Man, that just looked tough. I mean, especially stage 3. I mean, stage 2 was no joke. Stage 1, no joke. Stage 2, seemingly harder. Stage 3, wow, nearly impossible. And then 4, woo! I mean, after all that, man, congratulations to both. Wednesday was NXT for me. It's usually our weekly routine, so to speak. Real quick, Breeze, Bull, and Adam Rose, their segment, I was pretty entertained by it. I understand people who have a problem with Adam Rose, but they're trying to figure out what to do with him. I do think they kind of missed the boat after the E60 thing. I think they could have done something there with that, but they chose not to. So now they're trying to find a way to develop him even further, or give him this persona. You know, good luck to them. I was fine with Breeze and Bull and what they've got going on. I like Ty Dillinger's work as of late. I enjoyed Crow and Cruz, but I'll get into that in a moment. I do like the Tag Team Classic recap. And I thought the ending sequence of moves between Corbin and Rhino and Gargano and Ciampa was very well done. I really enjoyed that, and kudos to Gargano and Ciampa getting at least a couple of tapings under their belt with NXT. Hopefully that works for them. But ultimately, the best segment of the night would go to Bayley and Banks. That was something to behold. Talking about an Iron Woman or Iron Maiden match, as I think Solid Monsters brought up. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed their promo. I really enjoyed the emotion of it, and I'm really looking forward to that 30-minute Iron Woman match at the next TakeOver special. Speaking of NXT, Thursday I went to their event in Houston. About a 2.5-hour show, jam-packed. They had hosts, and they had screens, and they had cameras taping. So it was kind of a unique. I've been only to a handful of house shows for WWE. Typically they don't have all that. So it was really interesting to see. They had the actual entrance themes for everyone, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. The show overall. Let's see, not the card, not in any particular order, but I'll give my thoughts on each one. Enzo and Big Cass, they took on Gable and Jordan, and they got the victory. And I really seen those guys live and how the crowd interacts with them. You know, Enzo and Cass, their entrance and all of that. I just thought, man, it's just such an entertaining duo. At the same time, I really enjoyed Jordan and Gable's work. So I was really into that match. Dillinger and Bull, another one where, like, you know, Dillinger's got his perfect 10 stuff, the 10 chant, and Bull's got his bullfit stuff, and it just works because the crowd was really into both guys. Dana Brooks, Bull beat Ty Dillinger. Dana Brooke took on Carmella. Dana Brooke beat Carmella. Interesting to see those two. I know they're both developing, so not necessarily a problem with it. The Vaudevillains defended the NXT Tag Team titles against Blake and Murphy with Alexa Bliss. Getting to see all, you know, both teams and Alexa Bliss. Great to see everyone involved. Vaudevillains really enjoyed their work. Really enjoy just the characters, man. I'm just a big fan of theirs. Solomon Crow and Apollo Crews. Now, if you had seen Wednesday nights, the night before's episode of NXT, then you basically saw their match from start to finish, because it was the exact same match. The exact same match. I don't think they deviated one bit from it. But I enjoyed both their work. And the crowd was really behind both at certain points, but especially Cruz. And I mean, that guy's got a lot of potential. And I think Crow's got a lot of potential. Unfortunately, he's just kind of on a slide. I'm not really sure what they're going to do with him. Potentially turn him heel, but we'll see. At one point, they did have an intermission. They had a lot of merch. But let me continue with the card. Samoa Joe took on Baron Corbin. Joe got the win. Very, very happy to see that guy in person again. Saw him at the TNA pay-per-view when it was in Houston. I think it was Victory Road when he took on Booker T. So it was good to see him in action again. And good to see Baron Corbin. Like, people can say what they want about him. Obviously, a lot of people consider him green. I do myself. But, hey, man, he's performing on one of the highest stages out there, and really seemed to hold his own against Joe. But great to see Joe. And then Bayley defended the NXT Women's title against Emma. It was great to see both of them. Really good match. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully they can do something with those two, maybe after whatever comes out of between Sasha and Bayley. It would really be good. But I'd like to see these two battle each other again. I think they have good chemistry. And in the main event for the NXT title was Finn Balor taking on the champion, taking on Tyler Breeze. Kind of like a battle of entrances. I enjoyed both entrances, selfie stick, all that. I think Breeze is a genius when it comes to that stuff, and really enjoys work. And Balor, it goes without saying, I think he was immensely over. What I noticed is everyone had a gimmick. In essence, everyone on that roster had a reason for the fans to care. No one was a jobber. Everyone had a character. Everyone had a reason for the fans to react. So it was really a great show. I really enjoyed it. So I would, you know, if NXT's in your area, you get to check them out. Please do, because I think they're doing some great work. Now, couple things on Friday. Chris Crocker quits YouTube. Those that don't know Chris Crocker, I believe that's. He did the Leave Britney Alone. That was kind of his claim to fame. He, you know, achieved a certain level of success and celebrity, but he's leaving YouTube, or decided to leave YouTube. You know, disable his account because of comments. And I mean, I don't ever approach things in a negative way as far as like my videos, the theme, the topics, all of that. It's always from a place of positivity. So I rarely get negative comments. It's just a shame that people would feel the need to be so negative towards someone who's just really trying to express themselves. Now, through comments, you're trying to express yourself, but I think when you're doing videos and it's you front and center, I mean, I believe there's a certain level of respect that's deserved. And while maybe I don't agree with everything about Chris Crocker or the what he was as a persona, at the same time, I respect the fact that he was able to get that kind of attention and get that kind of celebrity. Because I mean, I think anyone who gets on YouTube and puts out videos over a certain period of time would like to achieve that same level of celebrity, I guess, you know, because again, it's something you do, it's something you like to do for fun, it's something where you can be vocal about what you about your feelings and such. So I don't know, man, it's just a shame. A couple other things. Rick and Morty is so awesome. I've kept some of the recordings, or some are on demand, like the Get Swifty one. Man, I've watched that a few times, but every episode is awesome to me. Review is awesome. Public speaking at your ex's wedding, priceless. Review continues to entertain me, and I really enjoy it. As well as I enjoy documentary now. I think I watched the one, yeah, where the guy's in jail, but he didn't necessarily commit the crime, and Bill Hader was the guy who actually committed the crime. Fred Armisen was innocent, but he was such a jerk that people would just like, no, we're gonna send him to jail. So I thought it was pretty interesting. Sting did a Rolling Stone interview a couple days before Night of Champions. Said some very interesting things about he was there to put people over, and his time had come and gone, and whatnot, and he was just enjoying being a part of WWE. I really enjoyed that. Also, some news that came out of on Friday was this another big, like, hot topic was TNA potentially leaving Destination America in January 2016. Now, that's apparently been confirmed. As of January 2016, TNA will no longer be airing on Destination America. They were there for 1 year, roughly. You know, there's been some discussion over, well, was Meltzer correct or not correct? At the end of the day, look, TNA is without a television deal once their deal comes up. Now, that's not to say that they don't get a TV deal, or they're not able to negotiate something, but man, I mean, what can you really say about it? Let's see. Some takeaways from SmackDown a couple nights before. I really enjoyed, you know, PCB versus Team Bad. I think Comic Book Chaos sounds like an awesome animated series. I'm interested to see what they do with the Cosmic Wasteland. I would like to see where they're going with that. I think that has some potential, at least from a comic book villain aura. I think New Day rocks. Yes, I said it. I'm probably not the only one who thinks that. But I don't want them to change how they are. I don't want them to change what's working for them. I think if you turn them babyface, then you might lose what's working for them. So yeah. Let's see. Cesaro's one of only a couple of guys that pinned Rusev multiple times. I thought him and Big Show was pretty awesome. I thought Ziggler and Owens was pretty impressive. I thought the finishing series of moves in the main event match was really well executed. And one other thing about the Divas Revolution. I think in all of the analysis and criticism of the Divas Revolution, what's missed through all that is that we are actually talking about the Divas Revolution. We're talking about the Divas. We're caring about the Divas. We're caring about the Divas title. We're caring about the competitors. We're caring about what they do. We're caring about where they go with it. We're caring about the amount of time that they get. It wasn't like that a few months ago. You wouldn't even think about, you wouldn't even give a second thought to the Divas title or who was defending it or who was champion. It took this influx of new talent. It took what they're doing in NXT. It took having Team Bella in their position, having Nikki as the champion. I think all of it worked to create this connection with the women of WWE, and the hope is that it carries moving forward. Takeaways from ROH. Dalton Castle continues to impress me. That deadlift German, quite impressive. Solid effort by War Machine and the Kingdom, and I believe they really did some good hype for their pay-per-view. Did not see their pay-per-view, unfortunately. I don't get a lot of pay-per-views. I watch the NXT and the WWE specials because they're on the network, which if you don't have the network, I don't know why, especially if you're a wrestling fan, because there's so much out there when it comes to the network. Also, Saturday I did go by and help with the new building. We're doing some demo and some, trying to get that place ready. Huge facility. It's got a lot of potential, and I've heard some of the plans for it. And man, it just sounds totally awesome. So I for one, cannot wait. So yeah. Okay. A couple of other things. Yeah, a couple of other things. So, takeaways from Impact. Now that's for last week, not this week. But I'll probably watch that. I'll get into that in a moment. I thought the Spud EC3 Hardy Tyra segment I really enjoyed. The statement, "You are garbage," was great, and I thought it was pretty excellent. I thought the Knockouts 4-way for the title was pretty solid. Congrats to Gail Kim. I guess Bram's indefinite suspension did not last long. He helped TNA win also. So TNA wins 2 weeks after GFW's corporate hostile takeover. I don't know, man. Yeah, people can complain about like the invasion angle with WWE, which was rushed, and there is right to be critical of it. But wow, that seemed like a year-long build as opposed to the 2 weeks that this hostile takeover took. I kind of wish they had given it a few more weeks and waited till Bound for Glory and hyped it that way, and probably done more with everyone. Built it up a little bit more. It could have been something that was working. Now let me say this about TNA in light of the recent comments. I won't go too much into it. I watched the show, but honestly, out of a 2-hour show, I had like 4 takeaways from it. ROH had a 3-hour show. I had 3. A 1-hour show. I had 3 takeaways from it. NXT, which is a 1-hour show, a little less than 1 hour. I probably had double the amount of points. So I don't know. I watch Impact because there are people there that I do enjoy watching, but at the same time, very little of it connects fully or resonates with me. I mean, it is what it is. I want the shows to be better. I want to care more about the talent that's out there. I think EC3's an excellent champion. I think him with Tyrus. I think the stuff with Jeff Hardy right now is working. I don't know. I don't like the idea of them being hit or miss. I wish that they were more consistent, and I wish I cared more. There's a lot of potential out there with them. But at the same time, you think they're kind of on borrowed time. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll get another TV deal. Maybe. I don't know. Now, Sunday, which was when I was originally going to film this, was Reality Wrestling's debut on the CW. CW 39 in Houston, Texas, 11 a.m. That's their home for the foreseeable future. Now, last video I mentioned that episode 75 could have potentially been the last episode to air on the Cube, but I was wrong because I looked on my DVR and lo and behold, there was a show that aired, and I believe it was episode 76. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I think it's the build-up to Summer of Champions, which is what will be, I think, the first 4 airings, or first 4 episodes on the CW will be the Summer of Champions event, which really played a big part in us getting the CW not only to get put on the network, on their network, but to also get the time slot that we got. So Summer Champions was a great show. Now, here's some of my takeaways from the very first airing. Pride and Rob Barnes, hard fought, great reversal into the boomerang bomb for Rob Barnes. He got the win. Again, they were making references to episode 76, and I will watch that before I put out another video. I think their episode 77 will also air on the Cube because that's also showing up on my DVR to-do list. So I'll probably talk about those two. Good promo by Hendricks, making reference to being on the very first Summer of Champions and coming back. And really, that's the debut of the Talk of the Legion, and so I really enjoyed his promo. I thought there was a great highlight package, a couple of great highlight packages from Title Match, which really hyped up Reality Wrestling and what some of the legends in our business think, what some of the superstars, the names, the people that have traveled the world, people who have been part of WWE or TNA, what they think about Reality Wrestling. It was great hype, and there were a couple packages there. I thought Snow and Brandon Sky was really great. A great high-flying match, great reversals. That Brandon Sky, man, he is impressive. With what he can do, how he can manipulate his body and whatnot. And Evan Snow, I'm just a big fan of his. I was also good promo by Ivory Robin. She's a relative newcomer to the Diamonds division, but really not waiting any longer. She did talk about it. It was kind of a title match, backstage promo, or backstage promo, and I thought she really did a good job with that. And the main event for the very first episode on CW was the Lockharts taking on one another. Eric versus Andrew. Really liked the table break. Never saw that coming. Just the way the back and forth and how the table broke, and really enjoyed Eric's finisher, and it was really good to see these two in action and really going back and forth. Kudos to both guys. They really worked hard. Some news that I found out about, like Friday night, early Saturday morning, was that Lucha Underground Season 2 is on the horizon. And that's great for all wrestling fans, because I was a big fan of their show, and it's going to be good to see Season 2 and where they go with it. So, speaking of Sunday, Night of Champions. Kind of my takeaways from it, what I thought, what I liked. Maybe some of the stuff I didn't like. We'll see. Let's see. Ryback and Owens for the IC title. I thought it was solid. Great storytelling. A great way for Owens to work one of the arms of Ryback to take away that strength advantage that Ryback has. And Owens going over. Congrats to the IC champion. Getting the new IC champion. I think that's awesome. Hopefully Ryback gets a rematch, but at the same time, I like Kevin Owens. I think he's a breath of fresh air for that division, and I think it can only get better with him as champion. Rusev and Ziggler. Ziggler beating Rusev should be a big deal. I don't care about a shoe getting thrown or the clunky love triangle that they've got going on at this point. Truth is, Ziggler getting the win should be a big deal. But I do see Ziggler's drawing inspiration from HBK with his new outfit, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he can wear the Lana-inspired tights all the time. I don't think he can wear them on most Raw or SmackDown, but we'll see. At the same time with the match, I like both guys. I think the chemistry is great. I think Lana was missed. I feel the crowd wasn't as into it, which is a shame because both guys worked really hard. People may complain about how, but the fact is Ziggler won, so we'll see how it goes. For the tag team titles, the New Day retained against the Dudley Boys. By DQ, the Dudley Boys won when Xavier Woods interfered, and then he got to go through a table for his efforts. I don't know, that was good. I was fine with that because I think the New Day should have remained champions. You don't want the Dudleys to just come in and right away get the titles, because what's that say about your division, tag team division? Plus they're getting a rematch, so we'll see how that all shakes out. I think the Breaking Ground network special looks pretty awesome. I'm pretty eager to see how that turns out. Then for the Divas title, Nikki Bella, the champion, lost the title after 301 days. That is impressive. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how many times she defended it. She held it for 301 days, and that people can complain. I've said my piece even in this video. Great win for Charlotte. I think that was an impressive win. Having Ric Flair out there was a great touch. Overall, I was fine with it. You know, great. So congrats to Charlotte. Let's see what goes about. I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. The Wyatt family took on Ambrose Reigns and their mystery partner, who ended up being Y2J. That's great to see Y2J there. I know some people might have a complaint about Jericho in certain aspects, but the truth is he's a multi-time heavyweight champion, so that carries some weight. I mean, he's probably the most decorated guy in that entire match. He did have a pre-existing issue with the Wyatts, especially Bray. So yeah, I didn't have a problem with the choice, nor the fact that the Wyatts went over. I thought Strowman was impressive. Like some had mentioned, I probably wouldn't have kept him in there as long as he was in there. But it's just that gradual build of what's going to happen next between the Wyatts and Ambrose and Reigns. It'll be interesting. Lesnar's Go to Hell tour. I'm really eager to see how that all goes about with him in Madison Square Garden, and then taking on Undertaker at Hell in a Cell. And then he's also going to be on Steve Austin's podcast. The Steve Austin Show. I'm really curious as to how that's going to turn out. But that's cool. Lesnar, Taker, I guess 3 in this current iteration of what they're going to current series of matches, although let's face it, they've faced each other a number of times. I thought Cena and Rollins for the U.S. title. Cena going over on Rollins. Rollins was the U.S. champion. He was a dual champion. I thought they had a great match. They pulled out all the stops. Told a great story. And I would have been fine with Rollins going over, but Cena getting it, hopefully that they do something with it, like let him actually go back to those U.S. Open Challenge that he was doing earlier, because I thought he had a great series of matches with a whole plethora of guys and helped some guys get a great rub out of that. And then finally, Sting versus Rollins for the WWE World title. Now I hope Sting is okay, and the injury, while scary during the actual event, hopefully there's nothing long term and he's able to wrestle moving forward. I think I really enjoyed the match with him and Rollins. simply because it's Sting in that ring. So yeah, I really enjoyed the two. I thought at points Sting was going to win it. I thought the cash-in by Sheamus could have worked. I mean, people would have been fine with it, I think, if had he cashed it in. And Kane returning, well, that's cool, because in some ways, him being the Demon Kane, especially on what happened on Monday, I don't know. It's interesting to see where they go with it. At the same time, you wish Rollins was able to work other guys outside of who he's working, but I really, at the end of the day, don't have a major problem with it. And kudos for Rollins, man, doing double duty back to back. That is truly difficult, I would say. And I don't think I've worked. Yeah, I've worked a couple of matches back to back, but still, man, that's tough, man. Kudos to that guy. Now Monday, because I wasn't able to record this on Sunday, I ended up watching Raw, and so here are some of my takeaways from Raw post Night of Champions. I didn't see the kickoff match between Neville and the Lucha Dragons versus the Cosmic Wasteland, so I was entertained by this matchup, although I heard that the Cosmic Wasteland went over at Night of Champions in the kickoff match during the kickoff show, but they lost in this match because WWE does that. But I was entertained while it lasted. I thought Owens is great whenever he has a mic on him. On commentary, really added to the Bo versus Ryback match, which was surprisingly physical. I really enjoyed Bo's work. I mean, I think, unfortunately, they're not giving him a whole lot to sink his teeth into, but when he goes out there, man, he performs, and he really thought his match with Ryback was pretty physical. Rick's introduction of Charlotte was epic because it's Ric Flair. Anytime you can get Ric Flair to introduce you, that's phenomenal. Equally phenomenal, if not more so, was Paige's pipe bomb promo. Now, they consider that the pipe bomb. She really let everyone have it. Everyone in the Divas division had it. And I think her promo, that promo specifically, was way better than a physical heel turn where she would have turned on Charlotte at Night of Champions or turned the night after, something with some physicality. The fact that she was vocal and used her words to really come across and turn heel, and at the same time being somewhat justified in her view, which makes a great promo. Believability is always the key for a great promo. Nikki's promo was solid as well. I think a great, like, hey, our business isn't done yet, so be ready, Charlotte. And then Charlotte and Brie I thought was solid. I think, you know, with Charlotte, what they try to do, because she is considered genetically superior, the fact is that they have to build sympathy for her because that's what's happening at this point. Trying to get her as over as humanly possible. You can't always have her just destroying women or beating women outright. Although I think that could have been a great tactic to work. That could have worked. But at this point, if they're going to do that, then they're just trying to build sympathy. I was okay with her match with Brie. I do like Kane kind of acting, you know, like he didn't know what had gone on the night before. I don't know, all in all, I really enjoyed his tactics all the way through. I thought Xavier Woods' rendition of Rusev's theme song was awesome. I thought the New Day Rusev team was great. They were really entertaining, especially, again, with Xavier doing the trombone, doing the rendition of Rusev's theme, and Rusev getting some offense in, and I thought it was really great. And even though they beat the Dudley Boys and Ziggler, and Rusev got his win back, I thought it was pretty cool. I enjoyed Natalya and Naomi. Even though Naomi went over, I thought Natalya had a good showing for herself. Again, I liked Cesaro versus Big Show. That suplex from Cesaro on Big Show was something to behold. And I'm okay with Big Show. The people that complain about Big Show seem to forget that Big Show legitimately is a 7-foot 350, 400-pound guy, and ultimately, if he's motivated, he could beat anybody. The knockout punch is really held to a respectable finisher. Like, no one, rarely do people kick out of it. So, and he can hit it out of nowhere, and he's such a big guy that it's very convincing when he does it. So, yeah, don't have a problem with it. I understand Cesaro will lose more than he'll win, but that's what happens when you're on the climb. You eventually will get victories. And Cena and Rollins, for the U.S. title, Cena's the champ. He went over. They have a great series of matches. It's just a shame that it was the night after Night of Champions. So it's just a rematch of what they did on the special. Not nearly as impressive as the Night of Champions match, but they have great chemistry and they're having a good series of matches. And then Kane took Rollins to Hell, so I guess we know what's going to happen in Hell in the Cell. I guess we now know potentially what's going to happen. A few other things. WWE, their philosophy on finishers seems to be changing. At least some reports are out there that they're trying to give more emphasis on finishers and try not to have people kicking out of everybody's finisher, so that the finishers mean something, because they should. And finally, the fan that jumped the rail at Night of Champions is going to be serving jail time. So don't jump the guardrail or enter the ring if you're a fan. I understand some people are like, well, why don't the wrestlers beat them up? You got to understand it's a publicly traded company. At the same time, I wouldn't advise any wrestler in any promotion taking matters into their own hands during this period of time. I just hopefully you've got some security in place. Now if someone tries to get physical with you, well then obviously, you know, defend yourself. But saying, oh, I would beat them up, look man, fans are going to jump because they don't think there's any repercussion for them jumping the guardrail. Now that hopefully some jail time is going to be is potentially even a long jail sentence, maybe hopefully will cause people to rethink that thought about jumping the guardrail. And then you know, it's sad to hear about Kurt Angle's brother David and being charged with murder of his wife. Tragic event. Man, I almost didn't want to even mention it, but I remember it being on my list of stuff to talk about. So yeah, hate to do that, especially to kind of end it on that kind of note. But that is, unfortunately, that was the last thing, and I thought I didn't want to fail to mention it. So yeah. Now, after this video is released, I'll probably release another video on Sunday. I'm not sure when I'll film it. Maybe I'll film it Sunday morning after Reality of Wrestling, and it'll start to get back on track with the Sunday releases. However, I may not always film on Sundays, so I may not always do a Reality of Wrestling review or reality, you know, takeaways from it. But I'll talk about Reality Wrestling in some form or fashion, I'm sure, as well as whatever else is going on. I believe probably my next video will just cover the rest of my week. I mean, there's stuff to talk about. A lot of season premieres or series premieres that have been going on. Like South Park that aired last week, which honestly was hilarious, as well as Moonbeam City. But back to South Park, and I shared this, the 30-second their view on Deflategate probably crystallized it perfectly. So yeah, and Moonbeam City. I'm curious to see where that goes. I was a big fan of Archer, so this seemingly is like the 80s version. I like the art and whatnot, and just kind of the period of time and whatnot. So both shows are pretty are highly entertaining. There's a lot of entertaining stuff out there. last but not least, Arkham Knight. I've been saying that I will cover some, I'll give an update on that until I beat it. Well, I decided to kind of wrap up or try some of the other stories, like the Red Hood story. I had I think I was at 50% of the Batgirl Robin story. I beat that one. And then I did the latest downloads. I haven't really checked them out, so probably my next video I'll talk a little bit more about that, because I'll probably talk about a variety of topics. Maybe not necessarily all wrestling, but more than likely it'll be some wrestling at least. So, if you ever have any questions, comments, or topics that you would like me to discuss, feel free to hit me up and leave me a comment. Let me know what you would like to hear me discuss, or if there's some question that you would like me to answer, or if you have some advice on what I should discuss. I would be more than willing to hear everybody out. Hope everybody has a good rest of the week. Like I said, I will be releasing another video in a few days on Sunday, so this will be out late Wednesday, early Thursday, so it'll be only a few days, but be on the lookout for the next video. And let your friends know about my videos. I enjoy putting them out, so hopefully you enjoy watching them. As I always like to end these, stay cool, stay sexy, stay classy. Just enjoy your life. Batman Day on Saturday, so, you know, celebrate that. He is the hero we need and deserve, and Batman Day, wow! Luckily it's a Saturday, otherwise I probably would have taken a day off. But anyway, until the next time, later!